Welcome to today's event. The name of the event is How to Boost Your Productivity with Salesforce Inspector Reloaded. As I said before, my name is Guilherme Dornelas. I am honored to host this session as part of the Trailblazer community group from Vitória, Brazil, Espírito Santo. Well, I know many of you rely on tools to make your daily Salesforce work faster and more efficient, and Salesforce Inspector Reloaded is the best tool, as I can see, to work faster and better in Salesforce. That's why I called Thomas to present the session. I will be only the host, so I'm honored to present him. I will share my screen only to present the slides that I created to present him, okay, as part of the recording. Here is it. We rescheduled the session. Previews was scheduled for February 13. Now it's today. So our speakers is me. I am a Salesforce Revenue Cloud and CPQ specialist, flow expert, as everybody knows here in this community, and I am the host of the day. Okay. If you have any questions, I will start the Q&A in just a few seconds. So you can send the question in the Q&A or using the chat. The best way is the Q&A, okay? And my speaker, the speaker of the day is Thomas Prouvot. Please, Thomas.
Hi, everyone.
I will stop my screen, okay? So
Okay.
you can present yourself, and welcome, and thanks again.
Thanks for the invitation. My name is Thomas Prouvot. I'm a technical architect at Salesforce and based in France. And I'm the author of Salesforce Inspector Reloaded, which I released, I think it was around April 23. So we are nearly on the 2 years for the extension.
Cool.
I will present my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So, Guillaume, do you want to wait a little bit or we can start? I don't know how many are we?
Well, I think we can start. We have 20 people now, but subscribers, we have more than 100. If you want to wait a few minutes, if you have time, we can wait 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. Let's
Great.
wait 2 more minutes, okay?
During this time, does anyone who is already there has any questions or expectations?
You know, Thomas, I think you have the the statistics. Oh, I forgot the word. Don't know.
The stat.
But yeah, the stat. Sorry. Brazilian people loves the Salesforce Inspector Reloaded, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many users here in Brazil use the
Yes.
the extension?
There is a great community. I will display the numbers later, but yeah, this is a spoiler alert. Brazilian users are 7,300, and you are the 4th country by number of users.
Oh, cool. It's a lot.
So,
I remember when you told me 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That we were using Salesforce Inspector and only 200 people.
Yes. And I think that just after your LinkedIn post, I think the numbers just explode. So thank you for the advertising that you've made on the extension. Because I think around the 7,000, many of Brazilian people were guided by your post or your feedback.
No, thank you. Thank you for making this. Okay, I think we can start now.
Great. I don't know if all of you know Salesforce Inspector Reloaded and how many of you are using it, but it's each time I'm doing the presentation, I like to know if there's more, discovering people who are discovering the extension, or more people that already know the extension but just want to know if they will learn something. So I don't know if you can put some reactions and guide us on if you are discovering it or already using it. Can they send reactions through the tool, Guilherme?
They can talk in the chat, but they
Okay.
can't open the mic.
Okay. We'll see that later. So.
Yeah, Janderson told that he's using and loving. Lucas already knows. Ricardo already knows. Everybody is using here. Cool.
Great. So no new user, but mainly existing one. Great. So I don't know if you know all the possibilities and features of the extension, but I will just summarize it by saying each page of the extension. First one is the pop-up that I think everybody knows, since it's the page open when you click on the button, which is on the top left of the screen. And this pop-up allows you to do many things. It is populated with record context on the object tab. You can quickly access to the links of the object manager, for example, fields, record types, lists, layouts of the object. And you can also search for any users in the user tab. You can also interact with those users, for example, activate the logs, enable debug mode, many other stuff. Check for permission sets, permission set groups. You also have the shortcut tab, which is the one I think I'm using the most during the day. It gives you instant access to everything which is in the setup. And you can also search for metadata, for example, flow, permission set, profiles. And finally, you can also create some metadata, permission set, flow, profile, custom permissions, so on. And finally, you have the org tab, which gives you information about the org tenant and information about the incoming release. Then you have the data export page, which gives you the info on how to extract data and write SOQL inside the extension. I added recently the support for language subject search language, SOSL, and GraphQL also. You have also the data import, where you can mass insert, update, delete data, and more recently metadata, which can be useful if you are using and leveraging metadata features. You also may know the show all data page. This is the one where you can see all the information of a record, even if it's not displayed in the layout, if you have the right to read those fields. And the last one is Explore API page. I think this one is less known than the other one. My particular usage for this is to display the deployment components by when you copy a deployment request ID in the extension, you will have a button which is check deploy status, and this will send you to the Explore API page where you can see all the deployment component. In the new features recently added, we also have REST Explore, which basically give you Postman-like access on Salesforce without installing any new tool or any configuration. So you can interact with Salesforce API directly from your browser without installing anything. You have the limit page, which gives you all the information about the limit consumptions of your org. You also have Event Monitor, which is really helpful if you are working with platform events. Before this, it was a pain to catch the events, or you had to use a Filippo-Zil managed package, but it requires the right to install it on each org, and it was more difficult to use it on the fly. And finally, you have Field Creator, which allows you to create bulk fields. You can also use the import option, meaning that if you have the information about the object to create in an Excel file, it will be much more easier for you to import the information and bulk create those fields. So few statistics around the extension today. The numbers are from 2 weeks ago. We are 215K people using this extension weekly. We are on the 11th release since the creation in April 23. And we have users among 154 countries, which is amazing. And also we have 1,500 beta testers. So the extension, main one, is available from the Chrome store, and the second one, the beta, is only available with a link, which is referenced in the repository. So Guilherme, you were asking the stats about the users in Brazil. So we can see that Brazil and France are very closed. So if you want Brazil to be on the third place, you know what to do. You have to track every admin colleague who is using another extension and promote Inspector Reloaded to make Brazil on the third place and overcome France. This extension is an open source extension, so it means that it's open to contribution. Today we are lucky for Salesforce Inspector team, since we have more than 20 plus contributors. So I'm very glad that I do have some contributions and people who are helping me on the contributing, creating new features, highlighting some bugs. So this is great, and I think I'm missing some Brazilian contributions. So if you have some ideas or bugs, feel free to create some issues on the repository. Few words about the origin of the extension, why Salesforce Inspector Reloaded has been created. I was and I am still a huge fan of the original version, which was made by Soren Krab. And the only thing that annoyed me a lot was an extra comma in the query editor. I don't know if you were also users of the original version, but when you were using the autocomplete features and selecting a field among the suggestions, when you selected a field, it automatically add an extra comma, which means that if the fields that you want to select is the latest one, or if you already have a comma, you always had to remove manually this extra comma. So one day I was motivated by checking in the code and checking if I can contribute to this extension. So I downloaded the repository, forked it, fixed the bug, and submit a pull request to the original creator of Inspector. But I never had any answers on this pull request. I think that the repo is not maintained anymore since a few years now. So I decided to create my own extension and name it Salesforce Inspector Reloaded without this extra comma. This was the first features that I developed on the extension. So what's new on the extension? Many things. I told some of them earlier in this presentation, but the main and major changes are the new pages that we created for this extension. One of it is the event monitor page, and this allows you to subscribe to platform event and monitor in real time what are the events that are coming out from Salesforce. This contribution was made by Antoine Leleu, another contributor who helped me a lot on this new page. What's new on Inspector Reloaded? One thing I was discovering when using Inspector OG version was this is full of features that are hidden or unknown by the majority of the users. So I decided to create a documentation website to give information about each feature that we developed and also existing one. So that if you have any question, any information needed or tutorial needed, you can go on the Salesforce Inspector documentation, Salesforce Inspector Reloaded documentation, which is available directly on the pop-up on the top, on the bottom right of the pop-up. You have an icon, info icon, which will send you directly to the documentation website. As I said earlier, one of my favorite new features is the shortcut tab. So as you can see, you can create new metadata. You can have a link to standard classes, standard Apex classes. And you can also access directly to many metadata, flows, permission sets, profiles, and so on. So for me, this is a huge time saver since I don't need to go on each page and search for it, especially for the flows. This is the more and more used on Salesforce platform, but the screen to search for the flow wasn't really UI friendly, and we had to scroll down for a bit if many flow was created. So this is a huge time saver for me.
Oh, Thomas.
Yeah.
Regarding shortcuts, we have a questions here. Question from Lucas Santos. Any plans on roadmap to customize shortcuts?
Well, it is already possible. You can already create new shortcuts, but let's say it's in a geeky way. I think I documented how to create new links on this extension, but this is already doable. You can add some links to your favorite records, or if you have some places in your org that you always need to have, you can already create new shortcuts. So this can be done by two ways. First way, which is the one I documented, I think, is through the developer console. And the second way is now on the new version, I added some options to import and export all the configuration you've made in the option page. And in this configuration page, you can set up new links and then import the JSON file into the extension. I know this is not perfect, so I have in mind that I need to add the possibility to create new shortcuts directly from the extension. But I didn't finish the feature yet, so I have to do the dev again and develop this.
Okay. I think Lucas okay, keyboard shortcuts.
Yes.
Yeah, to start
Okay.
the app or something like this.
So this is already available also. I don't know, Lucas, which browser are you using, but this is already available with Chrome user. Remind me to show it to you during the demonstration, but on Chrome, when you select the extension, the general Chrome menu for the extension, just above extension, you have a menu which is shortcuts, and it will display all the shortcuts available and customizable for the extension. So we do have the shortcut to open and activate the extension. We have the shortcuts to suggest all the fields in data export. We have shortcuts for many things, and I will be able to show it to you later. But if you can check now, and if you have any question, feel free to ask.
Thanks, Thomas.
Guillaume, remind me to display it to Lucas later if I forget.
Yeah, sure.
What's new? New features also from the Inspector Reloaded. If you open the pop-up and click on the Object tab, and if you put the focus on the input field, it will load the recent records directly in the pop-up. It is useful when you are testing some process and navigating through 3 or 4 records. By doing that, you can access to the recently records viewed quite easily and quickly. You have also the field creator that I was mentioning, which was made by Santiago Paris, another contributors who created this new page by his own. So very proud of him. It was a great job, and I think that is useful for many people. New feature also for the favicons. I don't know if many of you already used it or are discovering it, but in Inspector Reloaded, you can now customize the favicons of each org. I added also some extra features to automatically populate all the orgs you visited with Inspector Reloaded. And during this auto-populate process, there is a smart option that can be enabled that will automatically colorize the environment based on some regex. For example, all the environments which contain dev will be colored in blue. For the int, for integration, it will be in green. For the UAT, it will be in orange, and production in red. So you can customize the favicon, and more recently also the sandbox banner, which is very helpful if you want to quickly know on which environment you are. We also had a REST Explorer option, which allows you to run REST APIs on Salesforce. So you can query for the limits, you can publish platform events, you can retrieve some metadata. So this is very helpful, and this is to me a kind of replacement of Postman for very, very simple request. So very helpful. So I was mentioning also the sandbox banner header with the different colors. And also I added some, let's say, prod mistake proof by updating the background color for the page that can update data. For example, the show all data will be in red for prod environment. The data import page background will be also in red, so that you make sure that you are not updating the prod by mistake. Last but not least, this one is about security. Salesforce Inspector Reloaded is, let's say, a powerful tool, but with great power comes great responsibility, meaning that my suggestion is to make sure that you can control who is using Salesforce Inspector Reloaded and more generally, which extension on your org. And you can achieve that by configuring the API access control, which allows you to block the usage of any API on your org, and then grant the access by configuring some connected apps, so that you can be sure that your sales representative won't be able to use Salesforce Inspector Reloaded unless you grant them the access. Usually on my project, I'm enabling this configuration as soon as possible, and then I'm only enable the Inspector Reloaded rights for admins. And now this is demo time, which will be on the configuration of the connected app and the API access control. Do you have any question before going through the demonstration?
No, I think
No question?
no. Everybody is loving the feature of favicon.
Yes, this one is great. Yeah.
About the API one, the control, it's very important because here in Brazil, a lot of companies blocked Salesforce Inspector Reloaded because of it. And now it's time to tell to the companies that is available, right?
So yeah, I know that some companies are blocking, let's say, most popular extensions on Salesforce. But one thing I could say about this is that you can block existing extension, but this is a huge job to monitor new extension that are coming on the store every day and keeping a track and a list of those blocked extension. So my suggestion for those companies would be to enable API access control, which makes sure that no extension will be usable on the org, and then activate one or two extension that you know who is doing the extension, you know that code base is maintained by several people and security check are done properly, because you can use a new extension and say that the features are great, but you don't know what is behind. And I'm thinking of not necessarily a security issue, but let's say bad design that can also make you hit some limits on your org, for example, the API request limit or whatever other limits. So I would suggest to enable this as soon as possible.
Oh, and Lucas has another question.
Sure.
Do you always suggest use the beta version? Does it helps you?
Yes. In fact, beta version is the next version that will be deployed. So today, main version is 1.25, beta is 1.26. So it's a win-win. Win for the user because they will discover the new features before the other ones. And win for me since it allows me to test those new features and bug fix as soon as the bugs are discovered. There is not many bugs on the beta, I promise. But yes, it helped me to make sure that the extension, the next version, won't have some bugs. Plus, I added some, I don't know if you recently saw the communication I've made on this topic, but I recently changed the rollout strategy for Inspector Reloaded. Before I was releasing the new version for all the users, meaning that if the new version has a bug, everyone will be impacted. So now I'm doing a progressive rollout with increasing, let's say, 10 or 20% of the users each week, meaning that when I will release the new version, I will only release it for 10 or 20% of the users, and then increasing each week the limit to make sure there's no blocking bugs and prevented you from using this extension. So, API access control. So this is available from the shortcuts. If you are trying to use it, I have to tell you that this option is only available after you open a case on the Salesforce support. By default, this option is not available. I don't know why. I regret it, but for having this option available in your org, you need to create a support case first. Then, once the support has closed your case and enable this option, you will have it under API access control menu setup. So, as you can see, when I open Inspector Reloaded and clicking on the user tab, I have all the information about my user which are populated. This is because I'm doing a request to the APIs to get those information. So I will block the extension for non-admin user approved. So restriction is enabled. Now I'm refreshing the page. And when I'm opening the user tab, I can see that I have no information because I just blocked all API usage in this org. So now, how to configure the connected app? The demonstration will be shown on Chrome because this is the simplest way. If you have Firefox, there is some particularity that you will need to create manually the connected app, but this is not the case for Chrome. So I will went through the process for Google Chrome. I will click on Generate Access Token button, and this will trigger flow to enable and use, let's say, sorry. Let me check. Okay, so I still have the access, which is not what I wanted. I need to refresh the page. Okay. I know. Let me clean first. Okay, so I'm redisabling it. So don't look at this part. This is not part of the demo. This is just the reset of the connected app. Okay, now it should be good. API access control. Great. So I can access to my personal information. Now enabling API access control, and I don't have the user tab populated anymore. Now I will click on Generate Access Token, and I'm redirected to data export page with this error, Out app blocked. This app is blocked by admin. This is normal behavior. I will unblock the connected app of Salesforce Inspector Reloaded to make sure I can configure it. So before clicking this button, the app wasn't installed on the org, and now I will have it. Manage connected app usage. So now I have Salesforce Inspector Reloaded in the connected app usage and not installed yet. So I will click on install, give the consent to this connected app. This is a connected app from the extension, which I'm maintaining. And now it's installed. I will be able to choose which profile or which permission set is allowed to use the extension. So let me add system admin. And click on save. So now I have Salesforce Inspector Reloaded installed but blocked. I will click on unblock. Refreshing the page. And then click again on Generate Access Token. And now I can see that I do have my personal information populated here, and I can access to the API, meaning that my configuration of the connected app is now done, and now I can track and monitor who is using Inspector Reloaded. Out usage. Now I can see that I have this connected app usage, and if I'm checking who is using it, I can see that my username is using this extension through the connected app. This is it for the demonstration. Now, I did not forget Lucas' request about the keyboard shortcuts. And now we can see all the shortcuts available for Salesforce Inspector Reloaded. So activate the extension, data export, import, all the pages of the extension are also customizable, the shortcuts. And you also have the opening of the developer console, homepage, setup. This is, I think, only on the beta version for now. And you have the open pop-up, run query and data export, all the shortcuts available for the extension.
Cool. I think it's answered the question that Lucas sent, right?
Okay. Great. Now, just finishing on the roadmap. So, few information about what is coming next. I'm currently working on the metadata page to first restyle it, second add new features, and make it more workbench-like, let's say. I can show you quickly what it looks like for the moment. So this is kind of spoiler, since I did not communicate it yet on this. Let me open another org. Here is it. You should be able to do it soon, but you can now search for metadata. You can now also select child metadata, dynamically create package XML, download this package XML, and also import package XML so that you can automatically use package XML and retrieve the metadata from this org.
Oh, does it mean that I can download only one flow now, for example?
Yes, you will be able to do it. Yes, this, and also the query search. The header on the data export is not very convenient today with the history. If you have long queries, it's not very convenient to read it. It's not very beautiful, so I'm also reworking on this part. How you can contribute or help to the extension. If you are a developer or if you want to develop new features, you can code it and submit some pull request. If you are more admin and not very technical, you can also help by creating the documentation of the extension. If there's some features that you want to document, if you want to help on this, no coding skills are required. And you can also become a beta tester by installing the beta version. So if you have main version and beta version installed in your computer, I would suggest you to keep both extensions so that you can export and import the configuration from one version to the other one, but just enable one extension at a time. And to finalize, this is kind of links to the documentation. So as I said earlier, this website is available on the pop-up by clicking the info icon. and you will be able to find many articles. Many of them are from Salesforce Ben, but you also have some other from Apex Hour and Salesforce Way. You can also have the access to the how-to section and to the GitHub repository if you want to create new features or bugs. Thank you.
Very good, Thomas. We have a few questions, but I think you answered a few, but let me ask one.
Sure.
I really like Salesforce quick shortcuts for search metadata, flows and settings. Do you know it? Did you receive any requests to merge other good extensions out there?
Merging other extensions in Reloaded, you mean?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, I usually say that I'm not very fan of merging extension, but I think that we can have common features. And for example, the sandbox banner colorization was requested by a user, and then so I implemented the feature, and then he decided to create his own extension, which handles only this part. And I think this is good because if you want to do something, do it. It will be your extension. You will be the owner of it. You can do whatever you want. So merging extension is not the priority, but implementing new features into one extension is okay for me.
Great. Well, Lucas asked to include how to install beta version on demo, but I shared the link, okay, Lucas, in the chat, how to install.
Yeah. Great.
Leonardo Paulo asked, I don't know if it's been asked before, but do you monetize the extension in any way? It's a good.
No. So extension is free and it will remain always free. I implemented recently the sponsorship button on the new beta version. It's the little heart icon on the extension. So I did this because many people asked me to do so. I wasn't really comfortable with this idea, since Inspector Reloaded is a fork of Inspector. So I wasn't very comfortable with this, but after a few requests, I decided to add this possibility. So extension is free. If you want to contribute, you can, but you can use it like this, and I'm okay with that, with this.
Very good. Well, a lot of positive messages here.
Great.
Thank you so much, Thomas. I know that you are having a short time to present the Salesforce.
No, it's okay. I hope you learned some new features. Don't know if you want to discover a new one, or if you have any questions, features, bugs.
Yeah, thank you so much again, and feel free to present again anytime you want here in the community, okay?
Sure.
Okay, everyone, thanks a lot. Obrigado a todos. Do you have any questions? More questions to Thomas? It's the last minute. I don't think so. So Gustavo, Thiago, Ricardo, everybody is thanking you. So thank you so much.
Spread the word and make Brazil the third country by users.
Yeah, we don't like to lose to France.
You know what? I did a presentation to France 2 weeks ago, and I said Brazil is right behind us, so you must spread the word to stay on the third place.
Yeah. Okay. For other questions sent here, I will share with you. Okay, Gabriel Diaz asked, where can we find the record of this meet? Okay, Gabriel. I will publish this on YouTube, and in the same page that you entered in the meeting, will be published today by the end of the day or tomorrow. Okay, I will send you the links. Okay, thanks everyone.